Hudson here. I am going to show you one of my favorite quick dinner ideas, and the best part is that you only use one pan that you have to wash at the end. So I actually was going to show you one of my favorite crock pot meals because I just released a new crock pot cookbook, and I realized that I didn't have the ingredients on hand like I thought I did. So I'm improvising at the last second, and in the crock pot cookbook I actually have a section of one pot or one pan dishes, because even though they're not crock pot meals, it's the same concept. It's really fast and easy. So this is actually in the cookbook as well. So speaking of that cookbook, if you leave a comment on this video right now with the word crock pot, as soon as this video is over, I'm gonna message you a copy of my free guide that has 5 of my favorite healthy crock pot meals. I wrote this book because I used to really struggle with finding crock pot meals that were healthy, and this is one of the tricks I have in my tool bag to eating healthy and getting my family to eat healthy year round. So leave a comment with the word crock pot, and as soon as this video is over, we'll private message you with that free guide. So my brother Luke, by the way, is my handy dandy cameraman right now.
Ran my finger across the camera.
Oh, that's all right. So basically what we're going to do is take some foil, and you're going to pull out 2 sheets. So we're making cod with roasted potatoes, sweet potatoes. But the reason that you want 2 pieces of foil is because what happens is when you bake the cod, it kind of has like this fishy liquid with it, and you don't want your vegetables to taste like that. So we're going to create this little like wall in the middle of the pan like this. If you guys are watching, leave a comment and let me know where you're tuning in from and what you are making for dinner tonight. It's really fun for me to see like where you guys are tuning in from, and make sure to leave the word crockpot because like no strings attached. I'll just send you my free guide with my top 5 healthy crockpot meals. So tonight, just my brother Luke and I here at the house, so we're just gonna make dinner for 2. And I'm just gonna, I am not a fancy chef, by the way. You know, one of the things I get criticized sometimes is that a lot of my recipes are really simple, but I do that intentionally because, I can make fancy recipes, but really, when it comes down to it and you have a busy night, what's your go-to meal gonna be? It's gonna be something that's easy and simple. And so what I tried to do was get really creative in the kitchen with spices and flavors and find easy and simple meals to make. Now, I'm gonna make cod for dinner. You can do this with any kind of fish though, tilapia, salmon, halibut if you have it. Usually I get this from Costco. It's Pacific wild cod. It's a little bit more expensive than some other fish, but it's wild caught. And I don't know, in my head, you guys know The Rock, I'm obsessed with him. I follow him on Instagram. He eats cod 6 times a day. So it's really good for you, cod is. It's really high in protein, so if you look at the ingredients list, 1 piece, which is about 6 ounces, has 30 grams of protein, no carbs, no fat. So it's a really macro nutrient friendly if you're trying to watch your macros. It's all protein. And I don't think it has it has kind of a buttery flavor to it. So what I'm going to do is just spray my foil so it doesn't stick with some non-stick cooking spray. And then the doorbell just rang.
What do we do about this?
Okay, confession time. I was going to tidy up my kitchen for this Facebook Live video, and I said, Luke, don't show the back of the kitchen because I just pushed everything to the side, but we had to answer the door. Okay,
well,
so,
we can
this is real life. You guys will just see I've got a mess
with,
back here, and it's probably just the FedEx guy. Yeah, it is. So.
Oh, this is awkward.
Oh my goodness, thank you very much.
Yeah,
oh, that's all right. I appreciate it.
Got another one.
Okay,
he's probably why is that dude recording right now?
Okay, sorry guys, it was the FedEx guy, so I actually didn't even have to answer that. Well, I'm blushing, so you guys get a real live view into the behind the scenes of the video. Oh my goodness,
that's awkward. Alright.
If you guys are watching this and you have a kitchen that's messy just like mine, leave a comment so I don't feel so embarrassed and Luke will read them to me. Go ahead and read Luke some of the comments with people's names so I know who's on.
Well, you got a lot of people saying crock pot.
Okay, cool.
Lindsay from Eastern North Carolina.
Awesome.
And then she said my awesome Italian neighbor brought over spaghetti and meatballs. It was amazing.
Yum.
Yeah, North Carolina, they're probably it's probably later over there.
Okay, so I just go ahead and cook the fish frozen. You can defrost it and it probably cooks better. But like I said, we improvised last second because I was gonna, man, You know what? I guess I'm just gonna say that I don't always have it together. Maybe if you guys follow my page and you're like, oh, she always has it together, you can see that I don't. Like, I didn't even know what I was gonna cook for dinner tonight. My kitchen is messy. Hey, stop showing that. Just joking, but okay. So I'm just taking the frozen cod. My kids like this too. It's really simple and really easy. And by the way, before I started this, I preheated my oven to 425 degrees. Then what I'm going to do is just take some sweet potatoes. I actually might just use one because these are huge sweet potatoes, but we'll see how much space it takes up. And I'm just going to cut these into bite-sized pieces. Now, I try not to do too big of pieces when I'm making this one-pan dish because you want everything to kind of cook consistently so it's all done at the same time. What I've accidentally done before is when I have cut my sweet potatoes into giant pieces, they didn't cook very good, and so like the broccoli was burned. And then you just put these on your tray, and you want to make sure that they're spread out like enough. Like if they're all scrunched together like this, it's not going to cook very good, so you want to put a little bit of space, which I'll do right at the very end, make sure it's all nice and even. And then what I do, the key to fast cooking is having really good knives. And so I just, like you saw, I cut my sweet potato in half, and then I just make a lot of thinner slices one direction, flip it, and then make the thinner slices the other direction. And that is one of the keys to not having to spend too much time in the kitchen, is having really good knives. Alright, so what I'm going to do is make my wall a little further so I have room for the potatoes.
Like Maricel purchased, my kitchen is a mess right now. Your kitchen is clean compared to mine.
Okay, good. I don't feel so bad. Then I'm just going to take some broccoli that I had in the fridge, and I'm just going to cut it. And we're just going to put it alongside the sweet potatoes. And then I'll show you my trick for putting olive oil on everything too, because you want to make sure olive oil is good for you, but it's really nutrient dense, meaning that a little bit has a lot of calories, and so you want to make sure that you don't just douse everything in oil. And so I have a little trick for when I roast vegetables. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of olive oil and put it in a cup, like that. And then I take my pastry brush, which you're supposed to use for making pies and things, and that way I just am able to put a little bit of olive oil on every single piece, but I'm not like dousing everything in tons of olive oil. So if you were to measure this out, it probably was only a tablespoon or maybe 1.5 tablespoons for the entire dinner. And this is going to be split between my brother and I for dinner tonight. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, Insta Stories, and Snapchat and are always asking, so my brother Luke did live with me earlier in the year, and then he moved out for a while, and he was kind of like interning for me, but we just found that it's really hard to mix brother and sister relationships and work. So it wasn't like, it wasn't bad, hard feelings or anything. It just was better for him to not be working for me. And so he moved out for a while, and then he missed me so much, he decided to move back.
Of course.
No, now it's more like a roommate situation. So he keeps me company, and he's my workout partner when the kids are with their dad. So
yeah, P.S. I still kick your butt though.
Whatever. Okay, then I just take these 3 Costco spices. I season everything, almost everything in my life with. So Himalayan pink salt, the California garlic powder, and the coarse black pepper. By the way, if we get any questions that come in, let me know.
Lindsay said, will your kids eat this meal, Natalie?
Yes.
If so, lucky, LOL. One of my 3 will eat salmon, but that's it.
So I will trick them sometimes, and like when I get them to eat fish, I tell them it's chicken. I'm a mean mom. And so, I don't know, the kids are pretty good eaters, don't you think, Luke?
Yeah, they're not picky. Besides, they really like candy.
They do like candy, and so that's one of the things is I tell them, I'm like, you can't have any treats until you eat all your dinner, and then sometimes they don't eat their dinner and they don't get their treats, so.
You got a question, have you used avocado oil?
Oh yeah, I have, and I really like it. It has a lot lower smoke temperature. I just haven't bought it in a long time, and was trying to use up this massive olive oil container that I had, so there's no reason why I prefer one over the other. So then what I'm doing is I'm taking the lemon and just cutting it into thin slices, and then I'll put that on top of the cod. One of the other things I like to do is sprinkle fresh rosemary over the potatoes and the vegetables, but I didn't have any, and since this was a spur-of-the-moment meal, okay, we'll just drizzle this when we're done. And then all you do is you put that in the oven, and you bake it at 425 degrees for about 20 minutes. And so at about 10 or 12 minutes, I'm just gonna shake up the potatoes, and so that way they don't get burnt on one side. And
do you defrost the cod first?
You can. I just am lazy usually, and so I don't. But you totally can. So if you guys are just tuning in, make sure to leave the word crockpot below. And if you do that, then as soon as this video is over, I'm going to private message you a copy of my free healthy crockpot recipes. So the reason that I created this crockpot cookbook is because I used to really struggle with finding healthy crockpot meals. Like, I would scroll on my phone and scroll, and like I always knew that 70% of your results happen in the kitchen, but I couldn't understand. I was like, well, I was making these meals that on Pinterest said they were healthy, but I wasn't losing any weight. It sucked. And so then I started realizing is all the condiments I was adding to those meals were making the crockpot meals unhealthy. So that's when I made it a mission to get really creative in the kitchen, to learn about spices that complemented each other, so that way I could make foods that didn't have to have, cream of mushroom soup or high sugar barbecue sauce or butter, tons of butter added to make them taste good. So this cookbook is 5 years of me making a lot of recipes that didn't work. But I wanted to share 5 of my favorite ones for free. So just, like I said, leave a comment with the word crockpot, and I'll private message you a copy of the free guide.
Okay, and then you got a question too from Bethany.
Okay, we have some time while this is cooking. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions at all, food, fitness, motherhood, whatever, just leave it in the comments.
So the temperature and how long you're cooking it for from Bethany?
425 for about 20 to 25 minutes. At about 12 minutes, you're going to want to take a spatula and just shake up the potatoes and then put it back in.
And then Shani Brick, she said she'd love the book to help me out.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
And then you got a lot of crock pots. And then Melissa Steed said you're amazing.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. I'm really not. If you see, my house is really messy. But I have a lot of good people that help me make things happen.
And then Bethany said, oh my gosh, this looks so good already.
It's really easy, you guys. My whole thing, the name of my game is simple and easy. I mean, if it takes a million steps, it probably just won't happen. So. And
then do you use, would you use coconut oil?
Olive oil.
Olive oil?
I could use, you totally could use coconut oil for sure.
Sweet.
Coconut oil is a little bit harder to spread unless you heat it up, because when it's room temperature, it solidifies, but when you heat it up, it's liquid, and so you just might want to heat it up a little bit so it's easier to spread out with that pastry brush.
Brittany Ann said, what's the best way to get motivated to work out consistently?
Well, that's a good question, and I have a lot of different tricks. Today, I even texted this video to my brother Luke. I pull up motivation videos on YouTube, and sometimes I just listen to those in my headphones, and that gets me going. I listen to people that look up to me on podcasts, like Cameron Haynes. I listen to his podcast. My friend Drew Manning, Fit to Fat to Fit. I listen to different inspirational podcasts. I connect with other people that are in the same boat, and I've worked really, really hard the last 5 years to get rid of the all or nothing mentality, because I used to think that unless I was perfect, then I could never get my workout in. And I've learned that perfection for me with my life right now never is going to happen. And so if I just focus on doing a little bit every day, and honestly, I mean, not really the hardest part, but the hardest part most of the time is just lacing up your shoes and getting out the door, or just actually forcing yourself to eat the food that you've prepared in advance. And sometimes that very first step of just putting that fork to your mouth or lacing up your shoes is the hardest part, and it's not that hard after that.
And then Laura said, how big were the salmon fillets?
They were cod, and they were 6 ounces, 30 grams of protein. Yeah.
Oh, you're getting a lot of questions now. Is your book available in other versions other than the ebook?
So we're working on that. If you guys follow me on Insta or your Snapchat, you saw that I actually have a print version of our abs core pelvic floor right now. and we're working on releasing a print version for everybody. We just have to find a supplier that can print it at a cost-effective price for us because it's all color.
And then this is a great question. Have you ever taken herbal teas or pills as part of your fitness routine or weight loss?
Not necessarily for weight loss, but I love tea. I'll show you into my pantry, which by the way is not clean at all. But I have this whole bucket of tea. So yeah, I mean, I love tea and I drink it often. Some of the ones that I like, this one, by the way, if you're having stomach problems,
smooth moves.
You can't have a bowel movement, take this, and it was like just plan to stay at home for like the next 10 hours. Ginger ale, throat coat, women's
next time you and
energy.
Kurt go on a date, I'm gonna get
okay. So I mean, I love tea, but I don't necessarily think that you should. I don't believe in detox diets. I like to just drink tea because at night it can really help me if I'm having sugar cravings. I'll just drink a cup of hot tea, and it's totally not the same as like a candy bar or ice cream, but sometimes it will just help kind of curb that craving for me.
And then Christy Wilson said, do you have any suggestions for someone that has bad back and RA? I have both, and it is very hard for me to walk and stand for a long time. And then she says, I find myself having to either use a wheelchair. Oh, it's too long. Can't see the rest of it.
Yeah, that's a great question, and we can't read all of it. Facebook only shows us the first 4 lines on a Facebook Live. You would really want to focus on the activities that are low impact, like maybe swimming would be a good one. And then really just focus on your diet and nutrition. And I know that's like probably not the answer that you want to hear, but diet and nutrition is like 70% of your results is going to happen from what you do in the kitchen. And then, I have like a rower machine. I don't know if that would be tough on your back, but that might be something that you could try out. And if you liked it, you could invest in one. Or biking even, like an air bike. I have an air bike in my home gym.
And then we already went over the cookbook, right?
What do you mean?
Got a question. What about the cookbook from
In
Chelsea?
printed form, you mean?
Yeah.
So we're working on it. The answer is we're working on it, guys. I know that a lot of you guys have requested it, and honestly, I've never done a printed book before. Everything I've always done were ebooks, and for me, I was always like, well, it's hard for me to justify doing a printed book, right? Because I can do an ebook, and my only costs are like the 3% PayPal fee, whereas your margins on a real book are so much lower. But we've had so many requests, and we've had such good success with our ebooks that we're willing to test it and try it. And if it doesn't work, and if it's not profitable for us, we won't keep it up, but we're definitely going to try it out.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Well, let's check on our food and see how they're doing. If anybody has any questions, I think Luke was like embarrassed to tell me like, nobody else wants to talk to you now.
I'm sorry, I'm shaky too. I'm like holding the phone up.
Darn, I don't see a spatula. That's right, we can use this.
Okay.
So, one of the things that I'm really proud of in the book, like this one, I know there are some kids that won't eat fish, but most of the recipes in the book are super kid-friendly, super family-friendly, and all of them are easy to make with like real ingredients you probably already have in your pantry. So see, this is why I create that little wall, because these like fish juices you don't want mixed in with your vegetables. And then you can see like these are definitely not done yet. But you can get an idea of how they're looking. And we're just going to put them back in and cook them for probably another 15 minutes or so. So we're probably going to hop off this Facebook Live, and then you guys got a kind of an idea of how the food's looking. But this is a really simple, easy meal to make. Again, if you guys are watching this video later, make sure to leave a comment with the word crockpot, and we'll private message you with a link to our free guide, just because I really have a heart to help teach people that healthy food doesn't have to take forever to cook, and that you can prepare these healthy crockpot meals that will save you a ton of time in the kitchen, and will help your whole family learn how to enjoy healthy eating. So, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you later.